Wow.
To the 20, the 10, the 5, the 30. Rosalie Jack sailed, but caught at the 30.
Julio Humphrey.
Deliver body blow after body blow after body blow. The team just wants to absolutely beat you up.
There are threats all over the field for these Georgia Bulldogs.
Good morning, Between the Hedges fans. Happy Hump Day. Do we have a great show in store for you all today? Today we talk about Ole Miss versus Georgia. And anyone remember Brocktober? All this and more on Between the Hedges podcast.
Between the Hedges is brought to you by
Dogs and More isn't your normal hot dog stand. Dogs and More serves gourmet hot dogs, hamburgers, and grilled cheese. Also, their floats are no joke either. They are located in Ringen, Georgia. Go to our website and under sponsors click Dogs and More. Believe me, their dogs are off the leash.
Welcome all you wonderful listeners. To our new listeners, I say hello and thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Between the Hedges. While you're here, go ahead and click that follow button so you can be kept up to date on all of our episodes. Also, while you're there, go ahead and make sure you turn your notifications on. If you don't want to download a podcast app to listen to the show, you don't have to worry. If you go to our website, which the link is in the podcast description below, if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can click on that link directly. I believe Apple Music also lets you do it as well, too. But when you go to our website, you can save our website to your favorites, and if you go to our home screen, then you choose Spotify, it will allow you to listen without the app being downloaded. All right, I'm off that information. Now I'm back to you wonderful listeners. Also to my loyal listeners who are back, I thank you and greatly appreciate your support. If you want to reach out to us on the podcast, you can send a message to us through our website, or you can call and leave a message at 706-389-0770. We're also on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube if you want to check us out there as well. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get this podcast started.
Athens, Georgia. What does this place mean to you? I grew up hearing about the sugar falling from the sky in the hobnail boot. A place woven together in tradition. I'm excited for the moment that I too can call this place home.
You were a little kid, you got up, you put pads on for the first time, and you dreamed about being exactly where you are right now. You dreamed about putting on a Jeep, being in a locker room, having an opportunity to play in front of 93,000 people, the whole world watching on TV, to see what you put your heart and soul to.
Athens is filled with love.
Love you, buddy. Love you, buddy. Man, we here for a reason. We at the University of Georgia.
And support of excellence.
Intercepted off the 10. Tyke Smith.
Moment by moment. Georgia. Shape many to be united together as a family. Once a Bulldog,
always a Bulldog. Welcome home.
Welcome back, Between the Hedges, Bulldogs fans. It isn't a game that we haven't faced before, Ole Miss and Georgia. But what is so different this year with Ole Miss that they are proving to be a credible threat? Well, some have said it may be from the sheer luck of the players and coaches, but I like to think it may have been something far greater. Ole Miss was facing off against a formidable foe at the beginning of the season. Yes, that's right, I'm talking about Alabama. They beat the Rebels back in September in Tuscaloosa. The score was 24-10, but it was not exactly the same Ole Miss team. At least some were shocked by what they had seen. The loss to Alabama was not just a normal loss, but an education. Neil McCready says they will tell you that they learned a lot from the Alabama game in September when it was really loud and they struggled. They were not healthy that day. Quinshon Judkins was not healthy. Trey Harris, the wide receiver from Louisiana Tech, basically didn't even play. It was Caden Prescorn's first game after he missed most of camp and the first 3 games of the season, and he looked very rusty. However, the Rebels led 7-3 after the first quarter in Bryant-Denny Stadium. They only trailed 7-6 at halftime and 17-10 entering the fourth quarter. If you're not seeing the pattern of these scores, then you need to pay close attention. This is not the normal Ole Miss team going against Alabama. In the past, Ole Miss would have not held Alabama back this much in the entire game. Despite they lost, they were really holding back what was a very determined Alabama team. This with an uncelebrated collection of defensive talent that's supposedly susceptible in the secondary. McCready says, I think this is a potential big game for Carson Beck. Defensive coordinator Pete Golding has been remarkable, but he doesn't have a ton of NFL talent. If we look at the approach Missouri took against Georgia, they led early on at Georgia and again in the third quarter before the Bulldogs came from behind for the 5th time in 6 SEC games. If Ole Miss comes at us with the same tactic they did with Alabama, they very much could come out of this weekend with a win. However, I feel that Kirby Smart would have already anticipated their game against Alabama. Much like the same way they practiced the same play that Stackhouse intercepted that ball from Cook. They watched the Tigers use that same play in a former game a few weeks back, plus the Gamecocks used that same play on us at the beginning of the season with great success. This is why Kirby is so dynamic with the players at Georgia. He anticipates the plays, and they do an awful amount of studying. The only issue I saw against the Missouri game was the Bulldogs' line of scrimmage. From what the Bulldogs have been dominating the whole season, the Tigers have opened up the Bulldogs' line of scrimmage offensively and defensively. If the Bulldogs want to keep Ole Miss not getting touchdowns or getting sacks or interceptions, we need to get our line of scrimmage under control. That is something that I know Kirby Smart did mention in the last game against the Tigers when they were going into the second half. If we can get that issue fixed and come at Ole Miss with the tenacity we have shown in past games, there is no reason why we can't come out 11-0 against Ole Miss and 26 undefeated wins for the count. We have the tenacity to do it. We have the talent. We just need to stay focused. I talked about that briefly on the podcast yesterday. If you haven't had a chance, go check it out. We have to be consistent and complacent. We need to just take it one snap at a time. We can't be worried about the next game or worried about what the media is saying. Just keep coming to Sanford Stadium with that Bulldog tenacity and beat Ole Miss. What do you think? Go to our website using the link in the podcast description below. When you click on that link, scroll down to the bottom of the website and click Send a Message. It is unanimous. I don't have to know who you are. All you need to say is what you think and feel about this topic, or if you have comments that you'd like to hear maybe me talk about as well too. If you don't want to go to the website and send a message, then call us, 706-389-0770, and leave a message. We want to hear from the fans. We want you all to have a chance to speak your mind. Also, don't forget to follow our podcast and send this to your friends and family or fellow Bulldog fans. Heck, if you don't even have Bulldog fans, send it to your friends and family. Maybe they can get educated and we can let them know what a true national championship team looks like, right? Let's spread the word that Between the Hedges is for the fans by the fans. We'll be back right after this.
Between the Hedges is brought to you by
Dog Swap. If you love custom frames, then you are going to love their designs. Dog Swap has all sorts of custom frames, from Sports Illustrated to photos and more. Go to our website and under our sponsors section, click Dog Swap and get your one-of-a-kind custom sports frame ordered today.
Welcome back, Between the Hedges fans. Anyone remember Brocktober? That is right, Brock Bowers, our tight end, pushes for return. Georgia hasn't really missed Brock Bowers since the star tight end went down against Vanderbilt with that ankle injury. After the player received tightrope surgery, it kept him out of wins against Florida and Missouri. Traditionally, the injury takes 4 to 6 weeks to recover. Even though Smart hasn't put a timeline on Bowers' potential return, the Georgia coach has provided an update on how the star tight end is recovering. Coach Smart says he's working hard. He's doing all he can do in terms of trying to get himself in shape and get better. He's back running now on dry land. We're hopeful that he keeps getting better. That's kind of the MO on this injury. Every kid we've had so far that's had it, week 1 they do this, week 2 they do that, week 3 they do this, and week 4, he's right on schedule for things he's been doing. It isn't uncommon for Georgia to be dealing with players who have had this injury and thus surgery. Tight end Lawson Lucky had it earlier this year and was back roughly 6 weeks following the injury. But sometimes it can take longer. Amarius Mims had the surgery following the game against South Carolina. It has now been 7 weeks since that injury, and he has not returned yet for Georgia. Coach Smart said some guys say it hurts worse than others. Lucky shared his experience with Brock. Jamal Jarrett had 2 of them. Cash, known as Jones, has had 1. Mims has obviously had 1, so from what I hear, it's more painful in the beginning. It's like a roller coaster ride. It has its ups and downs and moments. You continue to push through it, and you get better as you go. I did notice that Bowser's brace was a tad smaller when standing on the sideline against Missouri. Teammate Marcus Rosemy-Jackson did provide some positive news in terms of how Bowers is doing in his recovery. Marcus said Brock has been looking good. I've been watching him. It seems like he's progressing. I still don't know anything. I just know that he's been running. I heard he hit some high speed, 19, 20, something like that. He's progressing. He's looking to go back. We're excited for him to get back on the field because you know we definitely miss him on the field. We're just hoping and waiting. One nice benefit of Bowers being out has been a very successful player in filling his shoes. Ladd McConkey has had his 2 best games of the season and emerged as Carson Beck's new top target. Tight end Oscar Delp caught a touchdown in the win over Missouri as well. Bowers, though, still leads all tight ends in college football in receptions and receiving yards. Can you imagine when Bowers does come back? Beck is going to have a lot of dynamite players to have as targets, and that is going to open his gameplay up like a garage door. Beck and the other players on offense will be so versatile that the defense won't know who to cover. This game this weekend is really big for us since Ole Miss is ranked number 9. A win over the Rebels would no doubt clinch a berth in the college football playoff, as well as have the SEC East wrapped up prior to kickoff, as Missouri's win over Tennessee would also clinch the division for the Bulldogs. So this weekend is what I like to call a double duo for us. If Missouri could take the Vols down, it would allow us to have the SEC East clinched, and our win over Ole Miss will clinch the college football playoff. We are going to have a great weekend. Also, we may learn a bit more about Bowers come Saturday's game against the Rebels. The game is set for 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. You know I have this theory about something, and I wanted to share it with you all. What if Kirby has been keeping Bowers quiet for all this time because he is trying to keep him as his ace in the hole against the Tennessee game? Hear me out. I mean, I don't think we will see Bowers running at the Rebels game this Saturday, and that's not what I'm getting at, but it would be interesting if he did save him for the Tennessee game as a kind of secret weapon, maybe a player that nobody is aware of that's coming back in that game. I mean, I think that would totally throw off the Vols. Again, that's just my thoughts. What do you think? Leave us a message on the website or call us at 706-389-0770. Remember, new listeners, you can go to our website by clicking the See More on the podcast description and look for the link next to website. And when you click on that link, it'll take you straight to our website. Save it to your favorites. If you're listening to us on Spotify, then you will be able to just click on that site. Apple Podcasts is the same way as well. If it is on another podcast channel, then you may have to copy and paste, or you can just Google us and the top searches are Apple Podcasts, and you can always click on the website link there too. So feel free to reach out to us, guys. We want to hear from you. We'll be back right after this.
Between the Hedges is brought to you by
CB Tumblers. You ever wish you could have a custom tumbler? Well, now you can. CB Tumblers can make you any custom tumbler, from a bulldog design or a tie-dye, whichever you like. Whatever you can think of, they can make it. Go to our website and under our sponsors section, click CB Tumblers and get your custom tumbler ordered today. Michelle's Custom Design. They make all sorts of custom sports wreaths, Christmas wreaths, and/or signs. They can customize your order to your likings. Go to our website and under our sponsors section, click on Michelle's Custom Design to see what they have to offer. It's not too late to get your Georgia Bulldogs sports wreath ordered today.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the episode of Between the Hedges. Be sure to share these episodes with your friends and family. Also, if you haven't had a chance to follow our podcast yet, then go ahead and click that follow button. Don't forget to turn on the notifications so you were kept up to date with all the latest news from Between the Hedges. If you want to reach out to us, you can do so by going to the website. The link is in the podcast description below. When you click on it, you can go down to the bottom of the website and send us a message. Also, you can call us at 706-389-0770. Leave us a message, and if it is professional, then we will play it on the podcast. Well, I hope you all have a great day today, and we will see you tomorrow on Between the Hedges. Go Dogs!